Back to the Belleville Sports Club social media accounts, episode 27 of the Lancer Conversation. Week 5, the Lancers are finally back at home here for football as they take on the Alton Redbirds tonight here in Week 5. And with that, I'm joined here by our head coach of the football team, Michael Harrison. Appreciate you taking time to join me as always.
Hey, appreciate you having me up, asking me to come up.
It's been 4 weeks since the last time we talked. Week 1, right before the start of the year. You guys in those 4 games, 3-1, 2 big road wins, 1 here at home, a comeback win against Collinsville. So far, what's your overall thoughts as we enter Week 5? I guess you can say it's kind of halfway point of the regular season now.
Yeah, we kind of typically break the season down into thirds. We want to make sure that each third of the season we're winning, that third. And so coming into now Week 5, if we look at our schedule and say, hey, okay, we're 3-1, we're in a good position. We still kind of control our own destiny. Feel good with where we are right now, and looking forward to getting right back on the right train and taking care of business this weekend.
Let's go start of the year, Week 1 at home against Collinsville. You guys are able to take an early lead and held it for a good half of the game. Then eventually Collinsville gets it back. You guys get the lead back. Played a very tough, resilient Collinsville group. What did you guys learn from that game?
So honestly, all off season, we talk about handling adversity. Adversity is going to come at some point during the year. And for us, it was it was a good experience because we got hit with 2 or 3 things right there right off the jump. The game being moved to, from Friday to Saturday. Get here Saturday morning, get all warmed up just for the game to get delayed. We come out and luckily we were hot off the gate, but things are going well, and then all of a sudden they take a turn for the worse and they aren't. It was nice to see our team handle that adversity and then be resilient enough to stick to it and then come back and learn some of those lessons even though we won the game. So it was Collinsville's a good ball club. Coach Rhodes has them going in the right direction. But definitely nice to come out of that one with a win and being able to again, navigate through some of that adversity there.
In that game, you had a call on the defense to make some big stops, and they came through, made some big stops. What's it like having a defense that can make a stop anytime you need it? Yeah,
our defense has played well all year. Honestly, even last week, they played well for 2.5, 3 quarters. It's good, to have that in your back pocket to know that, you can rely on that defense on that side of the ball to get a stop when they need to, create a turnover when they need to, come up with a big play when they need to. My word to the team all week has just been doing it more consistently now.
Yeah.
And having the discipline to do it right all the time. And again, I think we've made a bunch of huge strides. I give, a lot of credit to, number one, the players, but Coach Zergel, he's got the defense rolling.
Yep. Week 2, you guys went up north to take on Peak and ended up winning by 20. 2 years ago, that was a game you guys lost by 33. Last year, you lose by 11. Now you win by 20. That's a huge improvement over those years.
Yeah, it's a collection of things, right? But it does. It boils down to, a lot of our guys that are playing right now as seniors, they were on that trip 2 years ago, and so, getting that experience, understanding, what Pekin's all about, going into that environment, understanding what we're going to encounter when we get there, but then also being able to execute on the road, taking that first road trip of the year. Again, it's a little bit further than just your normal conference game, so being able to get on the bus, get there, still be mentally prepared and mentally focused to go out and execute. Again, I think it was a good trip and a good test for our guys.
Week 3, Lincoln Way West, both teams are 2-0 coming in. You guys pull out the win by 14. What was your thoughts on that one?
Again, that was another game where I felt like we were honestly in control the whole game.
Yeah.
The offense had some big plays. The defense really stepped up and played well in that game as well. And honestly, the score makes it look a little bit closer, I think, than the game actually felt. But again, for our guys, we had already done it once where we left school early, got on the road, kind of our guys understood what the trip was going to look like. And then it was nice to finally see our guys command the game for the majority part of a game. And that Lincoln Way team, is a good ball club. The quarterback is a good player. Got a couple of receivers that are good players. So being able to match up with, a team that we could potentially see in the playoffs, that style of team, end up being a good trip for us.
Let's talk about Brandon Coleman those 2 weeks, especially those 2 weeks. Weeks 2, 3 and alone, he had 24 carries, 332 yards, almost a 14 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns. What are you seeing from him this year? Because, it's been like that for last year. It was good, but this year it's even better.
Yeah, well, Brandon last year was set behind 2 seniors. He got some carries for us, was a good third down, kind of mix-up back. So for him to come in this year, kind of knowing, or wanting to step in that feature role as the starting tailback, it was nice because he didn't play real well in the Collinsville game week 1.
Yeah.
So for him to be able to get some big runs, and really I think for him it's kind of that pressure. He thought coming into the season that he had to do this and he had to do that. We talked after that Collinsville game like, hey man, you're a good football player, relax and just have fun, make the plays that you're supposed to make. So to watch him be able to do that over the last couple of weeks was definitely enjoyable.
Speaking of that Collinsville game, you had to rely on Chase Boyd at running back. I think he's done a pretty good job backing up Coleman this year.
Chase has done an awesome job. We don't even think of him as a
backup.
We think of it as a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Chase has done a really good job. Like you said, he stepped up in that Collinsville game, had a bunch of good runs. And since then, every time we give Chase the ball, we're comfortable with what he's going to do with it. He's had some plays where he put his foot in the ground and made something out of nothing. And so looking for Chase to get back on the horse this week as well and have him a good week. As he, didn't get a bunch of carries last week. So hopefully we can get him some touches this week and kind of get him rolling in the right direction again.
With 2 good running backs, there's always a good offensive line starting everything. How good have they been this year?
I mean, I thought, coming into the year, a group that was a little bit of a question mark for us. We knew we had some upperclassmen with some experience, but just didn't know exactly how good and how dominant we could be at times. I think after, 4 weeks of the season, watching us play, varying levels of competition, we feel like that's a group that we can rely on. They're going to be consistent. We know what they're going to give us. In that group, again, there's 3 or 4 seniors up there, along with, Juice. When they're rolling, and when they're moving in the same direction, man, we can really control the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball.
Also want to talk about some receivers. Obviously, you got your big guys, Fluker, Waller, Des Clark, Justin Spears, some of those guys, also a few others. I mean, all those guys are on the same page with Armand right now. I mean, it's great.
It's good to see it when it's clicking.
Yep.
You named off a bunch of those guys, Marlon. Keithan was one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
Huge big game week 1. And then the next week you start doubling Keithan, and then Marlon, has a big week. You start doubling Marlon, Justin has, and so it's good to see all those guys are rolling in the right direction. And I think it's funny because those guys, as much as they all want to do well, they want to see each other do well, and they want to see Armand do well. And so there's a little bit of friendly competition in there to say, hey man, it's my turn to get a big play, it's my turn to get a catch, and so. That's been really good and really helpful for us offensively.
Through the first 4 games, you guys are 3-0 when you score first. How do you start quick against Alton?
I think for us, coming out of last week, going into the Alton, it has to go back to it's a lot more about what we do, how we execute. If we're disciplined, if we're doing the right things, than it is what our opponent is doing, right?
Yep.
Like you said, we're 3-0 when we get the ball and we execute and score first. Against Alton this week, we're going to have to look to execute early, give ourselves some opportunities to score some points. And if we do that, then we can really turn it over to, like you just talked about, turn it over to the defense, let them pin our ears back and go get them.
Yeah, talking about last week, you guys had a tough loss to a very talented East St. Louis team, one of the best in the nation as always. How do you guys recover after loss of that? Something you guys learn from, kind of just flush it? How do you guys handle that going into this week?
Yeah, no, every opportunity, you have to try to learn from it, you know, and this one is no different. East St. Louis is a good ball club, don't look at what their record is. They played some national schedule with some very talented teams on there. The message to my team, the message to our team when we got back was, number one, that wasn't our best brand of football. Like, we didn't do the things that we have been doing all season long, the things that we've done all summer to be successful. So we got to get back to doing things that we do. That was the number one message. And then number two is we watched the film and we said, hey, these are the mistakes that we've made. Again, it doesn't matter what opponent that we're playing. If we make these kind of mistakes, we won't be successful. So learning from some of those mistakes moving forward and again, concentrating on us and what Belleville East football is all about.
Finish off this interview. What do you feel like is one strength of the football team you guys are doing really well right now and one weakness you guys like to improve on?
Yeah, in terms of strength, I think, this group more than any of the ones that we've, had in the past, these guys believe in each other. It's one of those things where when the defense is on the field, the offensive guys are looking to see what they're going to do. The offensive guys are up and rooting them on, and then vice versa when we're on offense. Those defensive guys, have confidence that we're going to go down and score some points. So That's to me that team mentality and that team brotherhood is one of our biggest strengths. We're a resilient group. We've been through some adversity, and so looking for our guys to continue doing that. In terms of something that we can improve on, I don't think we're 3-1, whatever our record is. I don't think we've played a full game where we were playing our best football. Again, you talked about Collinsville. We started off really hot. There was a big lull in the game, right, and then we had to battle back. I'm looking forward to our guys putting together 4 quarters of Belleville East football and see what the outcome can be after that. So, again, I don't know what word that is for weakness, but I want to see us do it more consistently. Come out of the gates hot, midway through the game, continue to compete, and then finish strong in the fourth quarter.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time joining me as always. Good luck this week at the Dub.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Go Lancers.
Thank you.